Welcome to Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11.
Well, after a fantastic Tire Pro Summer Showdown night number 1 last Sunday, here we are back this Sunday with Tire Pro Summer Showdown night number 2 here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Thank you guys for coming in, hanging out with us. I am Caleb Hart. Chad Fitzpatrick, the man, the myth, the guy who's got all the information from the driver's seat of it, and it's going to be incredibly relevant for tonight's show because we have got 200 laps on the 5/8 for super late models on top of a bunch of other fun, Chad. This should be an interesting program.
This will be fun. We got mini stocks, we got legends, we got vintage mods, and super late models. How much better can that get?
It's a wide variety of different kind of cars, and we'll see different surfaces, different track lengths being used. Same surface, different track length. Either way, let's start it off with the small cars. We're going 4-cylinder action on the 3/8 and the mini stocks. Up first and foremost here on the program tonight, the BECU mini stocks have Josh McMillan on the pole, the Desert Food Mart number 8 out of Puyallup, and Travis Woodward next to him out of Lake Stevens, the Brava Pizza in Snohomish number 16.
The 18J of Jackson Beckel out of Snohomish, sponsored by Tire Pros of Arlington, and the 21J of Justin Brave out of Monroe, sponsored by J2Racing.Parts.
Third row is Lyndon Smith out of Everett, the PRCBD.com 221. Jalen Vick, car number 24 out of Briar, Washington, the Tom's Automotive car.
The 88 of Ryan McLeod out of Chehalis, sponsored by Houston McLeod Racing, and the 33 Ryan Hassenfleck out of Lake Stevens, sponsored by Edward K&S Construction.
Our fifth row, Devin Matthews out of Olympia, drives the Big D's Motorsports number 7. And starting 10th from Federal Way, the United States Seafood number 72 of Ronnie Absher.
The 18 of Paisley Bender out of Snohomish, sponsored by Stride Line Socks, and the 14 of Austin Kramer out of Snohomish, sponsored by Northwest Security and Sound.
And your final row in 13th, Christine Hill is the 14X out of Linwood, sponsored by Twitch.tv/XChristine. And the 81, Bobby Fisher out of Lake Stevens, Tire Pros of Arlington sponsors that car. Should be fun to watch Bobby try to peel through this field. A lot of fast cars to chase down as we are green heading into turn number 1.
And as the 16 of Travis Woodward grabs the lead off at turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Here comes Justin Brave. He has a couple wins to his name as well as they go into turn number 3, chasing down Josh McMillan in third. Great to see a few out-of-town drivers in this mini stock race out here tonight.
Absolutely. Nice variety for them. Let's see how they stack up against our locals. It's going to be that time of year where drivers want to venture away from home a little bit, try something new, as they've been running around their own place all year. And cool. Let's see how it stacks up coming into the money races.
Take home the mini stock showdown win. That's always a good thing to do. But back up front, it is the 16 of Travis Woodward, Justin Brave, and the 8 of Josh McMillan. They call him the godfather of mini stocks in the Northwest.
I've been seeing Josh McMillan's name around for many, many years, and right now, sitting in third position ahead of a couple of very fast race cars, including the 221 of Lyndon Smith, a proven championship car and driver here at Evergreen Speedway, who's going to look to the inside of McMillan going into the corner and has a nose on him coming out of turn number 2.
And the 221 Lyndon Smith right at his quarter panel as they go into turn number 3. Edge is just trying to edge by McMillan on the inside. McMillan fighting hard on the outside, but off turn number 4, it will be the 221 Lyndon Smith. Oh, inches separating them at the line.
Yeah, they're door panel to door panel going into turn number 1, forcing McMillan to the middle groove. Inside line prevails. Lyndon has got P3 and give him a little bit of time. Still a lot of race left to track down Woodward, who is hunting for that first win of the year. Justin Brave with a look inside of him going into the first corner. And Woodward gets the door closed, at least for the time being.
Yeah, Brave looking to the inside just momentarily as they headed off at turn number 2 down the back straightaway. I think he's starting to realize now the only way to get around Woodward is he's going to have to go to the outside.
Well, we've seen Woodward before up in this lead position. He is an excellent defensive driver. He does a great job of protecting the low groove and knowing at all times, okay, I got to keep this thing down. If somebody could drive around me, so be it. But very rarely do you see Travis give up the low line without a dogfight for it.
Yes, he is starting to train all the drivers. Hey, if you want to get by me, you better go to the outside.
It could be a dogfight up front as Lyndon has run down Justin and Travis. Our program today brought to you by Gene Johnson, plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical, as they are 1, 2, and 3, about a car length separating the 3 of them. They come off 4, and a spun out and slowed down race car right there. That is Christine's X14.
That was could have been a very bad moment for a lot of drivers right there. Kind of blended in with the asphalt and the paint right there. So that is definitely good heads-up driving by everyone as no one got into the 14 at Christine Hill.
Yeah, Hill spun out in the bottom of turn number 4. Now that is going to make things a little bit different because you go side by side on these restarts here in the BECU mini stock division, and that's a huge advantage for Justin Brave, who couldn't necessarily even get to the inside of Travis. Now you've given him a full race car's worth of track position here on this restart.
Yep, he is right there as we are green flag once again, but a good start for Travis Woodward. Had a little bit of an advantage going to the start-finish line, but Justin Brave going to try to capitalize on the outside. Ford on the inside, Volkswagen on the outside as they go flying into turn number 3.
Front-wheel drive car of Brave as he is sawing on the steering wheel, and you can do some things with those in the outside groove to the point where he is nose to head going into turn number 1, and Brave going to take over this lead just 8 laps into this A feature.
Yeah, let's see if he can hold off for another 22 laps, but the 16 of Woodward trying to get back to the inside. Justin Brave hanging out to the outside. With front-wheel drive cars, you can have a little bit more of advantage if you do keep it up high, get a little bit more momentum versus the rear-wheel drive Ford Mustang.
Now you're going to be working it harder. Look out, Woodward pulling out of the line, and that might have been why, as he knew coming off the corner he could afford to. Yellow lights on his 2 cars. Spun around in the turn. We've got the 81 of Bobby Fisher over there, and looked like maybe the 7 of Devin Matthews.
Yep, looks like those two, and tough break for Bobby Fisher. He blows a motor in the heat race, driving Gavin Blue's car right there, and he unfortunately gets involved in a wreck with that car as well.
Got to get Bobby some driving gloves.
Yes, we do. That's very cheap insurance. We need driving gloves.
That's right. Fireproof everything else, and then no driving gloves.
Yeah.
I get it. So coming off the corner, take a look. There is a replay of what happened. Been a incident-laden first 10 laps of this main event, but we're going to go back to action. Brave's going to be on the inside this time. Put Woodward on the outside, and let's see how the equation changes.
Let's see here how they do this. So this is a 2x2 that we do here at Evergreen Speedway, but I believe the leaders get to choose.
Okay, so they've got lane choice. Brave chose to go to the inside, if that is the case. A smart move, too. I mean, you can run around in that middle to outside groove, but day like this where we've got some temperature, and especially running early in the afternoon, that'll work the tires a lot harder and work the steering a lot harder as well.
Very much so. Almost 90 degrees. I mean, it's a very, very hot Pacific Northwest day out here tonight at Evergreen Speedway. But back up front, it is Justin Brave, but he's got the 221 of Lyndon Smith right there on his rear bumper covers. They head off at turn number 2.
From a strategy standpoint, Woodward loses 2 positions on the restart. Smart of Brave just to do it, to get Woodward further back and away from him and not give him that preferred inside line as well.
Yeah, exactly. Now we got a good battle for that final 5th spot, as it looks like the 24 Jalen Vick and the 8, the godfather of mini stocks, the Josh McMillan, hanging on for dear life as they come off at turn number 2. And here comes the 33 Hassenfluck as well.
Look at that. McMillan versus Vick. Vick's brother, former track champion here at Evergreen Speedway. And Jalen getting used to the Kelly family ride. Taking a look at him. He thought about circling around the outside, but then pulled it down in, and Hassenfluck in the 33, the former Hornet champion, just waiting for opportunity, trying to find a place to get in and around him.
He was definitely thinking about it, and when on nights like this, when it's almost 90 degrees, and you kind of already touched on it earlier, it's going to be slick. The tire's going to be slimy. So a lot of times the outside groove will not be the preferred groove, especially on the 3/8.
Is that one of those deals that where we're now over halfway into this race, or getting close to it, right? Where you are found the limit of your race car at this point in time, first couple of laps, okay, take it a little more tentative and then push harder and harder and harder till about the midway point where you find your limit, or are you trying to find that limit earlier than that?
Honestly, I think it just depends on the driver. I think every driver's different. I think some drivers might find their limit on their car in the first couple laps, and some drivers don't even find the limit for the whole race. But as we're speaking right now, the 221 Lyndon Smith getting really, really close to our leader, the 21J Justin Brave. Lyndon Smith starting to search around to see where Justin's not good versus where he is. And it's starting to be interesting as Justin Brave turns 3 and 4 seem to be his Achilles heel, but he's a lot better than Smith going through 1 and 2.
And you take a look at it, you can see from the turn 1 cam that Brave is kind of sliding the back end of that car around even in the first and second quarter. He's keeping his speed up, but there is going to be gaps in the defense there for Smith to try to take advantage.
And with front-wheel drive cars, you can get loose and still keep the speed versus a rear-wheel drive car when you're getting loose. You tend to scrub more speed off with that, and so that's the one thing that Justin Brave has going for him, but the back end went off went around on him going through 1 and 2, and Lyndon Smith trying to capitalize on it, but he shuts the door going into 3.
You saw him square the corner off at exit there to keep his speed up down the straightaway. Now there is a slower car coming into play, and that will be something for them to factor in. Timing matters on the passes here as Brave's going to be able to get to the inside of Christine Hill down the back straightaway. Brings Lyndon on with him as they'll make it through 3 and 4 again. We're down to just 12 laps to go. They go awfully quick in the mini stocks as they're putting down some really fast laps out there, and we got one around.
Looks like the 7 car of Devin Matthews going around. Unfortunately, that is his second caution that he has been involved in. Tough break for him.
Getting word that Austin Kramer might have been involved, and we'll get the Brandy Hood Promotions look to the inside.
Oh, yeah.
A little assist coming through the turn. That'll happen.
We'll see what happens here. Yep, he got just a little help.
That racing deal at that point in time, 2 cars going for the same position, and you saw 2 different lines being taken through the corner. As well, Kramer gave him a love tap. Around he goes. So, rebunch him back up. And once again, side by side here on the restart with just 13 laps left here in the BECU Mini Stock A main event.
This will be interesting to see if Lyndon Smith can capitalize on the outside like what Justin Brave did the last caution that we had, taking him very, very slow to the start line. We are green, and Justin Brave, a pretty good start for him as they all go and scrambling into turn number 1.
Smith's going to have him pinned down pretty well off the corner, although Brave cleared him a lot further than I thought. And here's Jackson Beckel sticking a nose in. He's in third with Woodward, and then McMillan 4 and 5, and Hausenfluck trying to pick up a top 5. He's willing to throw that car in the outside group, try to get around McMillan.
Yeah, we're all single file 1st through 4th, and still trying to decide who's going to run in 5th with Hausenfluck to the outside of Josh McMillan as they go into turn number 3, and a good run for the 8 of McMillan as they go through turn number 3 and 4.
I appreciate the simplicity of McMillan's look on that car. Easy to identify, right?
Yes, yep. I'm kind of biased. I love orange cars.
I get it. I get it. Down the back straightaway they run, Brave and Smith. Boy, they're tight. They're not exactly bumper to bumper, but they're about as close as you could be without touching there down the front straightaway as you watch those 2 race from Travis Woodward's far angle in 4th. So a couple of different looks at what's going on the racetrack in your top 4. Battle for lead on the left where Lyndon Smith is just dogging Justin Brave and make him use and earn every bit of separation that he can gain.
Yeah, Justin Brave certainly has the short run car where the 221 of Lyndon Smith has the long run car, and Justin Brave going every way possible to try to make it so the 221 cannot get around him, as he was recently going a lot farther out to the wall, but you're noticing now he is definitely trying to make it so no one can get to the bottom of him. Smart move there, as now we got a good battle for 3rd as 16 of Woodward goes to the outside of Beckel.
You would say that it's kind of a conservative approach there from Brave, but at the same time it's paid off for him as we look back to the battle from 3rd and 4th from multiple different angles. Now back to your lead on the left-hand side as Woodward had the run on Beckel, couldn't complete it. Backs off her and will take another shot, trying to come up to the rear bumper cover here down the back straightaway. So lead battle on the left, 3rd and 4th battle on the right as we're down to just 6 laps to go this time by.
All I know is if I'm Justin Brave, I want to see that white flag out right now. That is definitely, I would rather be the 221 of Lyndon Smith. I'd rather be the one trying to pass the car than the one getting passed.
Oh, for sure. There's a mentality there, and Smith's going to give him a tap at the center of the corner there. I would absolutely much rather be the predator than the prey in this situation. That's got to be some stressful circles from Justin Brave at this point.
And he's driving very smart. I could tell he's not getting in his head at all. He suddenly will change his line little by little, but nothing drastic. And you're going to do that if you want to keep someone behind you, as we have now 4 laps to go.
Really easy to panic, and especially at the point in time where you've been tapped, where you felt the 221 back there, and that might have been just enough of the mistake from Brave. A little early on the throttle pickup. There goes Smith to the inside in 3.
It had the 221 of Smith to the inside, but we got lap traffic. We'll watch and see what happens here as, we got another trouble.
Oh, timing is bad for Lyndon Smith and great for Justin Brave. 2 cars around the 88 and the 18, we understand, involved Ryan McLeod and Paisley Bender.
As we'll watch and see what happens here. Yep, just little love tap, and the 18 of Paisley Bender will go around.
So we'll gather them back up. One more try at this. So we're down to just a very few amount of laps to go. The battle has been really good between the 21 of Justin Brave and the 221 of Lyndon Smith. A 4-lap shootout. It's a trophy dash for the trophy and the money here on Summer Showdown night number 2.
Very stressful trophy dash for the 21 of Justin Brave and the 221 of Lyndon Smith as we will go green once again. And Lyndon Smith were 3 wide going into turn number 1.
Wow, what timing for Jackson Beckel. Beckel picks off Brave, and now they drag race down the back straightaway for the lead here. Smith going to shoot in on the middle, carries the speed through the corner, gets to the bottom, and Lyndon Smith going to grab the lead. Beckel with the big move for second. There goes McMillan to the low side. McMillan out of nowhere, like 5th to 2nd on the restart, but they're going to go 3 wide off turn 2.
3 wide as they go into turn number 3. Bad restart for Justin Brave, going from 1st to 4th, and a great restart for the 18 of Beckel and the 8 of Josh McMillan. Getting word from the tower that they told the 18 of Bender to let one of the cars go by since he passed before the start-finish line. So that's why he let one of the cars go by pretty easily. But back up front is the 221 of Lyndon Smith.
So Smith with the lead coming to the white flag. 1 to go. Smith, Beckel, McMillan, your current podium. As they roll into turn number 1, and we've got another one around. Once again, the 7 car of Devin Matthews. So we're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back with the exciting conclusion of the BECU Mini Stock main event next on Home Track Heroes. Well, this BECU Mini Stock main event has had some topsy-turvy moments, and we're going to have just a quick couple-lap shootout here for the A-Main win. You're watching Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11. I am Caleb Hart. He is Chad Fitzpatrick. Side-by-side, Lyndon Smith and Jackson Beckel going for the win. It's green-white checkered time, Chad.
As we go off of turn number 4, interesting restart as Lyndon Smith has a good start going into turn number 1. Here comes Jackson Beckel looking to the inside. A little bit of a love tap going into turn number 1, and we have a good side-by-side battle for third as they all head off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway, and we are going to go yellow.
Oh, we got a restart coming out, and I don't see them pointing fingers at anybody why, so didn't like the start, potentially?
I think they just didn't like that both cars didn't go, or they went before the start line.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to say.
All right, so we'll watch them. And boy, that's
Very slow.
Yeah, it's slow like molasses in January on that pace. They're gunning for the BECU Mini Stock win. Smith down on the bottom, Beckel on the outside. Boeing Employee Credit Union, BECU, believes in people over profit. BECU, altogether different. The proud sponsor of the Mini Stock class. And boy, they've got a good one coming here to the white flag. 1 to go. Smith low, Beckel high for the W.
As we have, once again, inches separating them at the stripe on the outside. I believe that was Beckel possibly at the line. But off of turn number 2, here they come. And it is Lyndon Smith with the advantage as they go into turn number 3.
Justin Brave retook the 3rd position coming out of corner number 4. Give this one on Summer Showdown night number 2. Jackson Beckel, Lyndon Smith, and Justin Brave. Let's go talk to him at the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort Podium.
Justin, tough race, couple late race cautions. What more did you need to catch those 2 cars in front of you?
Well, in that last restart that I got passed on, I just had no power. I have no idea what happened. I couldn't get my RPMs at all. I lost all power on the straights. I have no idea what happened. Pressures were fine and everything, but lost power. On that last restart, we had a good recovery, got back to 3rd, so can't be too upset with the car that's not working right.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get up here tonight?
Have to thank J2 Racing, Pace Engineering, Central Welding, Craig Rhodes from Craig Road Race Shop for helping us get this car together. Without him, we wouldn't be able to be out here. Doug Delfell and JBR for last-minute parts that saved us, and of course, my mom and dad for all their love and support they give me, and my friends Evan and Aaron for coming out to help.
All right, let's give it a 3rd place tonight, Justin Brave. Jackson, great recovery. Blew a motor last time out. Now you're back up on the podium. How are things just, to feel good to replace a race?
To come back and get 2nd after blowing up. I don't know, it feels great. I wouldn't have been able to do it without John and Dave and Scott and all them at the shop. They put in some late nights, some hard work, and yeah.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out here tonight?
PRCBD, Tire Pros Arlington, they're a big help this year. Joe's Racing, Bill Hunt for sure, Brandon, the Stork Boys, my dad, Cox Wheels Racing, Augie, Lyndon, that was fun side by side. Everybody that helped me on the car today.
Let's give it up. Second place tonight, Jackson Beckel. Lyndon, returning to the top step of the podium, how good does it feel to be another race winner again once again?
Oh, it feels amazing. That race could not have gone better. I mean, those cautions were not in my favor, but to get by Jackson and to get by Justin, I mean, it was amazing. They raced me really good. I thought I raced them pretty good. I had an awesome time.
Talk about that. Late race caution, 2 to go, green, white, checker. What goes through your mind when you're starting up front?
Oh, you start thinking, your heart starts pumping. It's scary because, I mean, he almost got me on that one lap, but we were able to check out and take the win.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get up here tonight?
I got to thank PRCBD, Bosworth Trucking and Grading, BrandonBuilt.com, my mom, my dad, Dave Riddell, he's my crew chief. Without him, this would be impossible. Central Welding and just the fans, everybody out here, thank you for coming. And yeah, everybody who's helped me get here.
Let's give it up one more time. Race winner, the 221, Lyndon Smith.
Well, congratulations, Lyndon Smith. Heck of a win for him. Back and forth there at the very end, but picks her up. So well done there. Let's move on. We got more racing coming your way. The INEX Legends on racetrack for 30 around the 3/8 with a gigantic field, Chad. 25 cars, 13 rows.
That's a big one here. And on the front row, the 40 of Samantha Schwartz out of Mercer Island, sponsored by Sharp Transmission, and the 30B of Braden Wager out of Camino Island, sponsored by Dirt Cheap Sewer.
The second row is Cole Alton from Port Angeles, the 09. Davis Jacobson from Bonnie Lake, the Evergreen Concrete Cutting, number 15D.
The 78 of Gabe Sessler out of Prosser, sponsored by DeBella Roofing, and the 10 of Chris Thompson out of Sonoma, sponsored by Weatherright Roofing.
Row number 4, Zach Reel, car number 7. Next to him, the 42A of Piper Alton from Port Angeles.
The 43 of Dylan Wolf out of Auburn, sponsored by Quality Quick Lube and Tune, and the 20X of Andrew Reel.
Row behind them, it's row 6, Chris Belanca, the 11. Belanca Homes, his sponsor. Kyle Lang, the 33 out of Snohomish, sponsored by Phillips Law Firm.
The 19 of Jaden Luce out of Issaquah, and the 69 of Nathan Adams out of Monroe, sponsored by Brian Estrin.
The next row behind them, Pacific Washington's Mason Nelson, the 37, sponsored by TriMed Ambulance, and the 11C of Chad Center out of Redmond, sponsored by Mazda of Everett.
The 76C of Josh Villock out of Edmond, sponsored by Burgess Construction, Washington Deck Builder, and the 68 of Kaylee Decker out of Duval, sponsored by Lewis and Maine.
Row behind them, Linwood's Jeremiah Johnson, the 13, sponsored by LB Motorsports, Dakota Gruchala out of Snohomish, and the Weatherright Roofing, number 27.
As we go green this time by, it is the 20 of Damian Harris out of Lake Stevens, sponsored by Flowmaster Gutters, the 98 of Aaron Flett out of Tacoma, sponsored by Kent Collision Center.
And the final 3 starters, the 51 of John Zaretsky, it's the 51Z out of Tacoma, McMullen Construction, Bella Luce's 55 out of Issaquah, and Dennis McMullen's 51, also a McMullen Construction car. 25 cars in lap number 1. Look at them all being nice and orderly. Coming down, Samantha Schwartz has got the early lead with Wager in hot pursuit.
So far, nice and orderly as they all come off at turn number 2 down the back straightaway. That last lap, Samantha Schwartz shot out of a cannon as she is leading the field at 25 as they all go into turn number 3. Side-by-side battle.
Samantha's been getting progressively better. Like, her finishes just keep creeping on up to the point where now she's a top 5 car. Maybe today's her day. It bodes well to start up front, but she's stretching from Braden Wager, who's also been consistently fast.
Yeah, I'm hoping for both of them. They're both definitely in the safest spot as we speak right now as they're single file at the paint as they are now looking to go 2x2 for second.
Cole Alton diving to the bottom. He's got room underneath Wager, bringing the defending track champion in a different car but out of the same stable, 78 of Gabe Sessler here this afternoon, and he's sitting in position 3 as he'll slip slide to the inside of Wager.
Yep, clearly driving in a different car. Last week on Home Track Heroes, you saw that car that he normally drives get absolutely destroyed on a last lap incident, so he is driving a backup car and currently running in that 3rd position.
Sessler's had a good year, done a little more traveling than what he normally is, also been playing around with late model here or there. He's got 3rd at the moment behind Alton and Schwartz. Meanwhile, they're moving behind him. 43 of Dylan Wolf moving forward, and there's 33 of Kyle Lang, who's never been afraid to go to the middle of the groove to try to pass some guys.
Yeah, most definitely is. It's working for him right now. He looks to the outside, and he does make the pass on the 15 of Davis Jacobson, trying to do the same thing to the 30 of Braden Wager, as he will do that, as he will still be looking to the outside, but now we got a battle for the lead, though. 9 to Alton and the 40 of Schwartz.
Nice move by Alton. Schwartz tried to crossover. That's something that you see frequently on the dirt side, is when somebody will slide up and through, you make a quick turn under. However, wow, sailing into the green grass. Thompson's 10 car.
And more trouble.
Whoa! I think Belanca's 11 involved, as we got one here on the front, 2 on the front straightaway. The 20 of Damian Harris right here. He's the one who got airborne along with the 76. As let's get a look at your replays. A lot going on here to digest, and here's where it started.
Yeah, we got some issues going into turn 3, and unfortunately the whole term of cautions breed cautions is definitely the case here. And what we see coming off of 4, it looks like, I believe that is the 76 of Valak slowing down, and that is actually the 11 of Chris Belanca that didn't see the 76 of Valak, had nowhere to go, and unfortunately almost did a rollover contest right in front of the front stretch.
Let's get a look at it from this angle. Speed shot down racetrack, and boy, it's not the most airtime that we've seen down the front straightaway, but in-car camera look. Ow. Ow.
Oh.
Ow.
That could have been much worse. So all drivers were okay, and unfortunately some cars were not, but cars are replaceable, people are not.
That's true, as you see Blanca visibly upset within the car, but we will drive on at some point in time. We are 2x2 with 6 laps in and 24 to go. Our program today brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. These are the Inex sir.
Uh-oh.
Sir, you can't park there.
You can't do that.
Yeah, Cole, that's not what you want. That's bad. So your leader is facing the wrong way now, as see what the heck went down here. It's him and Schwartz, and well, they'll try it again, I guess.
We're gonna try it.
We'll go back live is what we'll do.
We're gonna go very slow to the go line, and we're gonna go green again. That was a good start for the 40 of Schwartz on the inside, Alton on the outside. 3 wide for the lead as Sessler looking to the inside of both of them as they go off at turn number 2 down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Sessler smelling some redemption here, coming in behind him. That's Real in the 7. Real down low. Sessler kind of caught in the middle. And Zach Real looking for the lead. Give it to Sessler, maybe by a nose, but Real about to take it in the first turn.
Yeah, Real looking to grab that lead off at turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Here comes Dylan Wolf as well, going to try to capitalize as the 78 of Gabe Sessler hanging out on the outside. Here comes the 33 of Lang and the 09 of Alton, but off turn number 4, new race leader, the 7 of Real.
Man, this has been back and forth all through this field. One little misstep, and that spot is gone to somebody else. Wolf now to the inside of Sessler, looking for second, trying to bring Lang on through. Alton getting back involved in the 09 car. As down low, there goes Dylan Wolf. He's got a peek to the inside of Zach Real. We might have another lead change here. Might have 4 different leaders in about 9 laps early in this one for a field that didn't have a full invert on him. That's crazy.
Definitely impressive as Dylan Wolf with the preferred line as they come through 3 and 4. And this is pretty safe to say your new race leader once again, Dylan Wolf.
Boy, they're not exactly bumping, but they are kind of leaning on each other as, hey, look at that. Lead change coming again. Laying down to the inside.
Uh-oh.
However, he's going to have to work on her as for the second time, Chris Thompson visits another portion of our well-manicured grass here at Evergreen Speedway. Let's take a look into it. Touches the rear wheel of Flett and has to hang on for dear life as he goes to the inside. So Thompson back to caution flag. This has been crazy. There's a lot of little contact, a lot of lead changing going on up here.
These cars are very, very twitchy, and when you just make small contact like that, it's very easy for one of those cars to go around. But we got Dylan Wolf and the 7 of Zach Real, the front row. We'll watch and see if this will be a good restart. 20 laps to go. Looks to be good there, and we're going to be dead even at the line as they go into turn number 1.
Yeah, jockeying for position as they came out of the corner, and now down to the bottom, it's Wolf with the preferred line on Real, looking to bring Lang through. Real might have a gap to get down low, but that gap closes up quickly as Lang's going to push his way through into second. Wolf, Lang, Real, and Real looking to slingshot back to the bottom in 1 and 2 and retake that spot from Lang.
Real trying to do that, kind of like what we saw earlier with Samantha Schwartz, trying to get back underneath once she got passed by another car, and that's been kind of the popular move that I've seen so far this race. Normally I haven't paid attention to it, but I've seen a lot of those moves this race.
So we've arguably got our hottest day of the year in terms of ambient temperature outside, and that's going to lead to the hottest track temperature of the year. You wonder if there's just enough lack of grip for them to slide through, and somebody carries too much speed in the corner drive underneath them, as we have got 2 together. The 51 of Dennis McMullen and the 27 of Dakota Kuchala. Was either the 51 of McMullen or the 51Z of Zaretsky? Let's take a peek.
I believe that is Zaretsky going around. got a little help there. And then the 98 Aaron Flett will go around. So the two teammates will dodge to miss each other. That'd be a bad night if both teammates ran into each other.
At least they both look like they'll stay rolling,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So, and this is coming off of last week's show where Zaretsky climbed into a late model again for the first time, right?
Yes, yeah, first time in, I believe, 7 years. So great to see him back out into a late model.
All right, Wolf and Reel once again as we're picking this race off a couple of laps at a time. Back to green, Wolf in the 43, Reel in the 7. That row behind them is Alton in the 09 and Lang in the 33. Your top three breakaway again here on this restart. Mason Nelson making his first appearance in the top 5.
Yeah, Mason Nelson going into the top 5. Here comes Chad Sinner on the outside in a borrowed car, and contact as the 11C will go around. And we got all sorts of cars going around. We got a demo derby in turn 4, unfortunately.
Boy, you laid the commentator's curse on him. You
I
laid
did.
the whammy.
Sorry, Chad.
Now, here's the good news for Chad is that other than this spin, I didn't see him get tagged again, whereas others can't say that. Wager going, well, we've got the monster trucks coming up at the fair show, but he was just giving us an early preview there of what car-on-car action looks like. You see, there's Sinner, and Sinner, that could have been way, way worse. All he lost was a little bit of rubber on the spin out, as some drivers going to have a much more mangled car than he will. But little attrition, he'll start at the back and get a chance to come back forward.
Yep, I'm sure, like I already talked about earlier, cautions do breed cautions, so I'm going to guess. I'm not a good guesser at this point. We are single file. To keep this caution from breeding caution issue happening.
Had gigantic help for Dylan Wolf here, as now he doesn't have to go side by side with Reel, but that gives Reel the chance to duck out of line and try to go to the bottom on Dylan. Dylan gets down in 1 and 2. Can he keep the car low enough through the corner? He can. 1, 2, and 3 breaking away again, and got more cars trying to shoot the gap and look for space forward. It is Wolf, Reel, and Lang as we get the in-car view from Chad Sinner trying to come back through the pack.
Yeah, this will be definitely exciting to see how fast Chad Sinner can pick off these cars, and he has a really good speed coming off at turn number 2, looking to the outside of Decker, now looking to the inside, trying every way possible. He has a lot of ground to make up, as it is a great 3-car breakaway for the lead as they all go into turn number 1.
You know, it's interesting. I never thought about this. As you watch Lang blow to the inside there of Reel and make it cover, these cars are so short that your typical stock car, okay, he has the lane, he's got room, is hard to apply because you get from the back of the car to the middle of the car in no time here. There's just not as much room to traverse.
I have spotted for a legend driver before. In fact, it was John Zaretsky. It was very difficult to call a car to the inside because of how fast you could pass a car in a legend car, I should say.
And how fast things happen, too, because, again, they're so twitchy, and they pick up the throttle really quick. Here comes Lang to the inside. Just like that, he goes from behind the back bumper to even at the door, and Kyle Lang pushing for the lead. Back straightaway, he's got the nose ahead, and he'll have it going into turn number 3.
So your new leader, Kyle Lang, looking for redemption as he was involved in the last week's crash that you would see on Home Track Heroes, so he was put to the back. So hopefully for him, he can go and pick up a win tonight.
So take a look at Sinner here. Sinner's approaching your top 5. That did not take long. As coming up, I believe that's the Nelson 37 car that he's racing up to now, or at least it's getting closer to it. Looking for the green car. Might be a little bit further back in the field. There's a couple of different purple machines in the field. There is.
I believe that's Piper Alton that he is behind right now. Mason Nelson right in front, but that is still a lot of. He made up a lot of ground, and this is a borrowed car. He was involved in a crash last night as well.
Now watch how quick he ascends from back bumper to like front tires, and it took half a straightaway for him to get there at that point in time. Again, that's how sudden these cars are, and I can absolutely see that point you're making. Spotting for this has got to be a headache.
And the other issue is this class is known for having a lot of crashes. I think that does account to a lot of the crashes. Things happen so fast that you cannot, sometimes it's just physically, humanly impossible to try to miss some of these crashes here or miss another driver because you are so close and the car is so small.
Well, you take it from a point of view, we're going to get a commercial break. We'll come back to this thought here in just a second because we have got commercial coming up. More on Home Track Heroes. Home Track Heroes continues here on Seattle 11. Thank you guys for tuning in here on a Sunday night. He's Chad Fitzpatrick. I am Caleb Park. We are midway, beyond midway to the point where we are down to single digits left to go here in the INX Legends main event. Kyle Lang out in front, Dylan Wolf 2, Zach Reel in third as we go back to green.
Kyle Lang will, of course, regain the lead as they go into turn number 1. Single file restarts can be quite helpful for a division, or not even a specific division, but a specific race when you're having a lot of cautions.
The side-by-side restarts, and again, on a car this powerful, sudden, and twitchy, definitely will help in terms of getting them spread out, getting them a little extra ground to work with, and you see that here as they make this restart incident-free. Top 3 doesn't change. Wolf trying everything he can to chase down Lang with Reel in third. Alton in fourth, and Sinner back to fifth. Our program today brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. As top 5 unchanged, 7 to go.
I would say as of right now, Chad Sinner has probably passed the most cars all night.
Problem is that he just got to get by 4 more, and to do that, he had to go all the way to the back of the field. Needs another break. It gets a little bit harder the further up the track you go, and might catch one right here. Reel's kind of got the bottom plugged up with Alton, and if Sinner can just look out, he had to get way wide there. Alton going to take advantage, and down on the inside, trying to make his way forward. That is the 42 of Piper Alton, looking to sneak a spot away.
Little contact as they go into turn number 3. Zach Reel gave the 09 of Alton the bumper, but here comes the 11C of Chad Sinner to the inside, bumper back to the 7 of Reel, and the 7C or the 11C of Sinner will be able to capitalize.
Yeah, if I'm Chad, I want to get away from that as quick as possible. Now the Altons getting after her coming off the corner, and Mr. Reel, you now have a family matter stuck in behind you too wide, so might be a good time to be on your best behavior.
Yes, this will be a little interesting to see how this is going to go, as they are still single file, the 37 of Nelson.
Oh.
As we got issues, the caution will come out once again.
Did you see brother thump a sister there just for a second?
I did.
And then turn number 3, as let's take a look at the replay and around, and smash goes Johnson's 13 in the front, and that is the 65 tagged in behind. Chaos all over the place. Munched race car parts. But another chance at a single file restart. And huge benefit for Chad Sinner here, because now he doesn't have to run down Dylan Wolf. Wolf will be right ahead of him.
We'll watch and see what happens here with single file restarts. Once the green comes out, you are allowed to pass on the outside, not the inside, since the line is so big. But this was a very good restart, as we will go green once again. 4 laps to go.
Lang, Wolf, Sinner. The renewal of the Lang and Sinner rivalry could be coming, but he's got to find his way around the extraordinarily solid Dylan Wolf, who always seems to race well here at Evergreen Speedway every time they bring that legend out. We're down to 3 to go. Sinner with a look to the inside of Dylan going into turn number 1. Not quite enough to make his way through. He'll have to reload and try again.
Yeah, just didn't have enough horsepower, as we got the 15D of Davis Jacobson. He got third the last time we saw the legends here at Evergreen Speedway, but back up front, 2 laps to go for Kyle Lang.
Sinner right on the tail of Wolf, getting into the corner. Wolf gets away. Reel has managed to get away from that pack in behind him. He will hold on to the 4th position as we're coming to the white flag. One more time around. Piper Alton into Cole Alton. That's going to make dinner interesting, as Alton around in the corner, and you saw that one plain as day.
Oh, yeah, that's a little awkward.
A revenge for him thumping her going into 3. You never know. All right, so stack them up a single file. One more shot here. Green flag coming out. Ticker says 1, so I wonder if we're going to see a green and white.
I think we are doing green and white together. Very rare that we see this here, but I believe we are. We'll see. Yes, we are. One more lap to go. Let's see if Kyle Lang can hold on.
So see if we can get this one done and over with and to the podium. Back straight away for Lang, Wolf, and Sinner. More chance for Chad, and there's going to be no change at the line. Checkered flag, although it was close. To Kyle Lang, your winner. Wolf and Sinner will go down to the podium and get their thoughts.
All right, Chad, you had to hop in the backup car today. How was that challenge for you, and then that long race?
Honestly, it really wasn't too challenging. I hopped on it, and it's been on rails all day. Can't thank Travis Blevins enough for letting me do that, because my car got all tore up yesterday, and that thing is bad fast.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out here today?
I got to thank Mazda of Everett, Elevate Racing Media, Imperial Auto Salon, Palmer's, my mom, my fiance, Cooper, all my friends and family that helped make this possible.
Let's give it up. Third place tonight, the 11C, Chad Sinner. Dylan, tough battling out there. When a lot of cautions fly in a race, do you feel like it becomes harder or easier when it's segmented like that?
It's kind of nice. You get a breather for a minute. As long as you're not stuck up on the outside, you're pretty decent off.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out here tonight?
Have to thank Mike Barrett from Quality Lube and Tune, and then Brian Stowe from Stowe Properties, and got to thank my dad for teaching me everything I know and setting up my car, and my sister and brother-in-law for giving us the shop to do it in.
Or let's give it up. The 43 tonight, Dylan Wolf, second place. All right, Kyle, tough battle. Had to make your way up to the field. How good does it feel to be back up on the podium after yesterday had some contact in the end?
Yeah, no, it feels great. We had a great car tonight, and we just were able to drive our way to the front.
Talk about driving to the front. How hard is it when there's so many restarts having to hold off, especially when you're single file?
You just got to keep or stay low on the inside and then just hope no one can get by and then just keep going.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out here tonight?
Phillips Law Firm, Third Gen Race Cars, Elevate Racing Media, Premier Painting, my mom and dad, J2 Racing Parts, and Michael Fritz.
Let's give it up. Race winner, the 33, Kyle Lang.
Well, he sure didn't spend too long away from victory lane, but welcome back to victory lane. Kyle Lang in the 33 car. He has had a fantastic year in the INX Legends. Let's move on. We don't get to see these guys all that often. Very cool when we do. The vintage modifieds here on Tire Pro Summer Showdown night number 2. Lineup looks like this. Cale Cheth is the 23, and next to him it is the 8 of Jason Quazzo.
The 65 of Randy Adams, sponsored by Essential Storage of Wenatchee, and the 10 of Greg Scott.
Row number 3 is Shane Strimple, the Aaron's Olympic 4x4, number 57. Outside of him, Kyton Jones, Benchmark Barrels, sponsors the 30.
The 82 car, Vince Conwell, sponsored by Northwest Concrete Cutting, and the 22 of Steve Wood, sponsored by First Day Electric.
So you've got 8 cars, 30 times around the 3/8. Steve Woods has traditionally been your top dog guy to beat. He has got a lot of wins in this class and seems to be always very quick, but anything can happen at Evergreen Speedway as the green flag is out. And Cale Cheth sets out to the early lead.
Yeah, very good lead for the 23 of Cheth as they're all fighting for position as they go into turn number 3. The 65 of Adams, the 57, that is Strimple. That will make up your top 3. Lap 1, 29 to go.
And it looks like Conwell made some big progress from 7th up to 3rd already here in your opening stanza of this one. So we'll take a look. We had just talked about Steve Woods. He's got your Brandy Hood Promotions in-car camera here. Got the GoPro all strapped up, and we'll see what kind of progress Steve can make as they all try to track down Cheth. That is Strimple in the 57. About to lose a spot to Conwell. Conwell on the move early in this one.
Yeah, 82 of Vince Conwell, definitely the man on the move as he was fighting for that second place position. Let it drift up through 3 and 4, but at the line it will be Vince Conwell as he's, I believe, starting the 7th place position. Definitely a hard charging Vince Conwell.
And Steve Woods started 8th, and he's just about to make the pass for 3rd here. So at that back row quickly ascended to the front of this field. Woods to the inside. You get the in-car on the right. You can take a look on the left-hand side as you watch that thing. It looks glued to the ground here in the early stages. Now, found out, did a little research more on these vintage mods. Last time I had a chance to see them live and in person, which if you ever get a chance to do at Evergreen Speedway is the absolute best way to view Evergreen Speedway racing. They're on a really hard tire. So you're not going to see tire wear be a factor in this as you watch Conwell just move into the lead in front of Cheth with a little bit of bumping and banging happen. So these tires, they might warm up a little bit, but you're not going to see them press and fade as we continue working their way on. And actually, no, that wasn't quite a pass for lead. They're already into lap traffic? No, that's in behind them. I get confused.
I believe
early.
that was behind him. As we do have Vince Conwell, your race leader in the 22 of Steve Woods. Steve Woods, a many-time winner out here at Evergreen Speedway in the street stocks and in this division, as is the 82 of Vince Conwell. He is, in fact, your 1990 Bomber champion out here.
Wow, old school.
Long time driver.
34 years ago.
Back in the day, there was a whole bunch of Conwells that used to race out here. About, I would say, 4 or 5 of them in the Bomber division.
Speaking of guys that are old, Greg Scott's really old.
He is old, too. Yep,
yeah.
He is a many-time Figure 8 Nationals winner.
Oh, you were going to say something nice about him, too. Okay, perfect. Good. At least one of us will. down the back straightaway. Greg's very accomplished. He has done quite a bit around here at Evergreen Speedway.
Oh, yes. More so on the figure 8 track than on the oval.
Okay. Old school figure 8. It'd be interesting to watch these vintage mods on the figure 8, but I digress. As we get a battle for the lead, Woods has dove to the inside of Conwell, so the back row battling it out, and Woods going to jump to the top spot. Nice job by him coming up the pack, and look out. Rolling in is the 30. Things are going to get interesting here as things got very tight. Kyton Jones making the pass on Conwell and taking second. He's bringing Scott with him.
Yeah, Greg Scott looking to try to grab that final podium spot, but the 82 of Conwell with a good run off of turn number 2, side by side through 3 and 4, but 22 of Steve Woods hanging tough in that lead.
Watching Scott work to the inside, and it's interesting. Scott's got a very diverse skill set. Last time I remember seeing him was in a Legend, so you go from little twitchy Legend car to the big wheelbase V8s of the vintage modifieds, and a great job working his way into third.
Yeah. I don't know the last time I've ever seen Greg Scott in a vintage modified. I know he's done it before, but it's had to be at least 3 or 4 years.
So isn't that the Cottrell vintage mod, if I remember right?
Yes, that is the Brian Cottrell. It used to be yellow.
Yeah, so just different kind of blue on it now. And it seems like we normally see Cottrell in it. This is kind of a different change of pace for the 10 car.
Yeah, and this is actually a normal color for Brian Cottrell. In his years, he's always had a blue car. So it's
okay.
It's been recently he hasn't had one, so he's going back to what we're normally used to seeing.
How soon do we give you the title of official track historian? Any day now, right?
I can't. It's a group effort.
Okay, all right.
It's a group.
Fair enough.
I can't personally take it.
Well, I thought Steve Woods was going to jump to the lead and try to rabbit a little bit. Kyton Jones is doing a fantastic job of keeping him within a car length, and Greg Scott's rolling in on that battle as well. Conwell not losing too much touch with that top 4. Here's halfway, 15 in, 15 to go. And Steve Woods is under fire from Kyton Jones, looking to take the top spot.
Yeah, those two drivers throughout the Northwest have really good battles. I've seen these two race at Tri-City Raceway, South Sound Speedway, State Line Speedway, and Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. This is obviously a traveling class, and they are definitely bringing their skill here to Evergreen Speedway on the 3/8s.
Still pursuing him hard down the back straightaway here in the Vintage Mod A main event. You got one off the pace, and it's Greg Scott in the 10.
Yeah, something going sour on the 10 car. We'll see if he can get out of the way, and we can stay green flag racing action as he is. Looks like he might. I think we'll be able to get him off the track, and we can keep on racing, and yes, he will.
Circles out to the 5/8, so tough for Greg as his run will end. Top 2 now on a breakaway with 12 laps to go this time by Central Welding Supply. Sponsors this segment here on Home Track Heroes, and their mission of excellent service hasn't changed since 1975. Locally owned, larger inventory, and expert staff makes the difference at 27 locations. Find one near you at centralwelding.com.
Back up front, it is still Steve Woods and Kyton Jones. Woods, I've started to notice he's opening up the corner, the entry of the corner, and then he's turning hard through the middle, and he's straightening off coming down the backstretch. And what he's doing is he's scrubbing a little bit of speed going in, but he's gaining more coming off. And I think the 30 of Kyton Jones is starting to figure that out as well, because he's starting to move up a little bit as well.
Now, big key to that is the ability to have that car rotate at mid-turn, because if that car stops rotating and develops a little bit of a push, he's going to have to spend way more time off the throttle in the middle of the turn.
Yep, that will scrub speed, and once you have a tight car that's doing that, the back end of the car is going to want to go around as well.
Now, here's the caveat to that. Your car typically doesn't get all that much tighter over the course of the race. Yeah, sometimes it can, but as you burn fuel load off in the back, it should be getting looser, right?
Theoretically, your car should be getting looser as it goes on, but things can happen. Tires can grow, tires can shrink. That can mess up your stagger, and in fact, you can't have a car get tighter as you go.
And that would be one of the things that we're going to watch for, and I'm sure we'll talk about it here coming up in the late model race. We got other things we got to talk. We got to talk about spotting, but we will talk about tire growth coming up in that race, because it's going to be 200 laps around a very, at least to begin with, warm surface here at Evergreen Speedway, and tire growth on a day like this is going to be something that all of these teams will battle. For right now, 7 laps to go here as Steve Woods, Kyton Jones, 1 and 2, and they continue to run very tight.
Yeah, Kyton Jones looking to the inside once again. Very, very good corner. He's right there. Contact made as we also got a lap car, the 65 of Adams, and they're side by side, 3 wide as they go into turn 3.
Making their way into the corner, Jones, you saw the right front got into him, put a little tire smiley on the door. He backed off just enough. Woods picked her back up. Both of them drove through, but Jones is going to maintain that inside lane And we are looking at a lead change down the back straightaway. Nice move by Kyton Jones.
Jones looking to grab the lead, as we'll see if maybe the 22 of Woods looking to the inside. Nope, does not have anything. The 30 of Kyton Jones is definitely the faster vintage mod of the two, and he is definitely clean and clear out in front, moving about 2 to 3 car lengths.
What a cool vantage point that is on the right-hand side, just right up over the nose. You see the air cleaner hanging out there out in the front of it as Jones, now with 3 to go, trying to open it up, but Woods sticking close. In fact, Woods closing back in to make a run on the bottom of turn number 1.
Woods looked to the inside, perhaps maybe might have made a little contact through 1 and 2, but seemed to be no hindrance to our leader, Kyton Jones, as we will have 2 laps to go this time by, and Woods right there, right at the rear bumper of the 30 of Jones.
Well, we saw it. Turnabout's fair play. Woods was trying to get back to the inside, but the back end slid out on him right mid-corner. He's got enough speed to keep up with it, though, so Woods might have one more run. It's going to be a big set of turns right here in 1 and 2.
Kyton Jones is going to have to crank the wheel 4 more times, the best lap of his life. And now while those two are battling, here comes the 82 of Vince Conwell as well. But now the 30 of Jones starting to pull away from the 22 of Woods.
Well, it's been a fantastic vintage mod race. I'm sad to see it end, but happy for Kyton Jones, who takes the W over Steve Woods and Vince Conwell. Get a chance to get their thoughts on the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium.
You're a 1990 Evergreen Speedway Bombers champion. What was it like to return here to Evergreen Speedway? You're running some fast laps around this course.
Oh, it's great. It brings back a lot of memories of late model racing, and I just love this track and fans, and it's just been great to come back. I really enjoy racing here.
You're putting on quite the show there. Hearing the late models behind us, does that make you miss it at all?
Financially, no, but this is just as fun.
Speaking of finances, who helps you get that car out here?
Northwest Concrete Cutting, Mountain Edge event. Jim's my crew chief, and that's about it.
Driver the number 82, third place tonight, Vince Conwell. All right, Steve, it was a great battle there at the end of the race. You and Kyton, walk us through it.
Awesome battle. You know, that's a move that's allowed here at this track. It's wide open down there, and I should have been protecting it more. And he threw it down there. I had no clue he was there at first until we touched, and then I raced him as hard as I could on the outside for a couple laps, but he ultimately got me, man.
Hey, you certainly put on a good show. Beautiful 55 Bel Air there on the body of that car. Who helped to get it out here?
I appreciate that. My dad, John Woods, I couldn't do this without him, man. He's always helped me out. All my family always comes out here. All my kids are here tonight. My wife's here. Everybody comes out in these vans. It's awesome to come out here and race.
Driver the number 22, second tonight, Steve Woods. It was a great move at the end of the race that earned you this win. Walk us through the decision to shoot that low side.
Yeah, it's I knew I was a little bit faster than him. I could get good runs down the front stretch, and I just had to throw it in there and try it. There's a lot of space that's not usually available down there, and I had to try it.
They certainly did a good job there. When did you decide you were going to try that? Was it going into the corner, or was it a couple laps earlier?
I just been trying to pace him and figure out where I could build that run at, and that was my one shot, and I took it.
Hey, you took it and it paid off. Who helped you get that number 30 machine here at Evergreen Speedway?
I got a couple sponsors. Daryl Berg Engines built some amazing horsepower, and I used it right there. Benchmark Barrels, my dad back in the pits. And I got to say a big thank you to John Woods. I know Steve just mentioned him. I broke my clutch. It went out in first practice, and he gave me a spare. And yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it without him.
Driver the number 30, race winner in the Vintage Mods. That's Kyton Jones.
Well, it is the race that you have been waiting for all year long. When the schedule comes out, this is the one you circle your calendars for here on Home Track Heroes. It is the Tire Pros Summer Showdown. Here on the racetrack, I am Caleb Hart. He is Chad Fitzpatrick. We will be your visual and audio guides through this 200-lap, $30,000 to win spectacular for super late models on the 5/8. Chad, it's a great field. The pole is Tyler Tanner from Mooresville, North Carolina, the Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical car. And next to him, it is Derek Thorne out of Bakersfield, California, the Power Grade Inc. number 8.
And in the 27 car, our defending Summer Showdown winner, Cole Raz, sponsored by Apache Rental Group out of Lake Oswego, Oregon, and the 00 Nama Lang out of Linwood, sponsored by J&R Truck Rentals.
Row number 3 is Hayden Plybon. He's the 55 out of Spokane, sponsored by Cascade Rain Gutters. Next to him, Dylan Lupton from Elk Grove, California, the Lupton Excavation Inc., number 4.
The 2021 winner, 10 of Owen Riddle out of Natchez, sponsored by Don Rule Excavating, and the 22G Jonathan Gomez out of Twin Falls, Idaho, sponsored by Precision Aviation.
Young Guns in row 5 on the inside. From East Wenatchee, Washington, the Tire Pro 64 of Jan Evans. Next to him, out of Quincy, in the Thamrick Farms, number 1, Casey Klein.
The 17 of Max Schroeder out of Tacoma, sponsored by Zachary Jenkinson at EXP Realty, and the 78 Dawson Cox out of Arlington, sponsored by Busch Light.
Behind them, the Evans, Colorado Advanced Dairy Service sponsored 43 of Cody Vanderwall, and the 69 of Xander Peters from Eatonville in the DRS trucking car.
Donnie Wanda is in the 89 car out of Woodinville, sponsored by Pathfinder Chassis. The 42 of Evan Getz out of Okanagan, sponsored by Alan Gann.
It's the 2 of John Zaretsky out of Tacoma. McMullen Construction sponsors it. Ryan Philpott, the 52 from Tracy, California, and the Hacienda Pools car. Final row, Wyatt Gardner's 3. Edwards Construction sponsors him out of Lake Stevens, and J.J. Hamilton's 11 out of Chehalis, sponsored by CNC Development. As Tanner takes off into the early lead in the 65, we're underway for the showdown.
Lap 1 of, now we're going to go 199 laps to go, as Tyler Tanner will be your race leader. The 8 of Derek Thorne, the 27 of Cole Raz, as they are all still trying to side back there midway through 1 and 2, as the 65 of Tanner may be in jeopardy here, possibly losing the lead to the 8 of Derek Thorne.
This is going to speak a lot to the mentality of your drivers up here in the top 2. How hard does Thorne want to push this thing early, try to get around Tanner? How much of his race car does he want to use the early going just to be the guy who can set the pace as opposed to chase in the early portion of it? Right now, looks content to kind of ride around. As you get a look a little bit further back in the field, Raz being hunted by Plybon. Boy, we've seen those two get at it a couple of times.
Oh, many times at this racetrack and other tracks up the Northwest. Back to your point, you don't want to run it too hard. You know, you obviously have 200 laps to get through this. They get 4 fresh tires at lap 100. And this track is a cheese grater. They're on a newer tire. This is a ST1 tire, so this is a pretty much the spec tire for a slick for the Hoosier tire that the super late models run. So it tends to, it's a harder tire, so it won't wear out as much. However, you still want to be careful with your tires on the 5/8.
So you've been around all 4 practice, qualifying, etc. as we're watching the 4 of Lupton work to the outside of Nama Lang in the 00. What was the driver's feedback after practice laps and such with regards to the tire? I'm sure there's some drivers who haven't been on this yet, right?
There's been a few. Most of the drivers, as we got trouble, it looks like the 10 of Owen Riddle getting really loose, and we're going to go yellow. We'll get back to your point there. But we got trouble for Owen Riddle. He is in the wall.
Oh, yeah, Riddle. Wrinkled up race car. That is almost assuredly going to bring the end of his day. And let's take a couple of looks at this. This is from Dawson Cox coming into the corner. And you can see, I don't know if you can see a whole heck of a lot there as the sun's shining real bright coming through. Yeah, he started getting loose. No contact there with anybody else. It was tight, and then ends up bouncing off of the wall in the 5/8 with some velocity to it. So Riddle in a car that Preston Peltier's had his hands on at this point in time. That's unfortunate for him because that could have been a contender.
It most definitely can. It kind of almost looked like maybe a tire went flat, just the way he went around so fast. But unfortunately, ending his night very, very early. But up front, we still got the 65 of Tyler Tanner and the 8 of Derek Thorne. Those were our 2 heat race winners from last week. That's how they got to start on the front row. We're going to try this one again off turn number 4. Good start at Derek Thorne with a little bit of advantage as they all go scrambling towards turn number 1.
See if Thorne wants to come out and be the pace setter. He does, as he's going to drive up and around Tanner and Plybon. Going to try to follow him in and through. Cole Raz, the black-red with white number 27. This time now settling into 4th, so it was the outside lane. They got the jump this time as opposed to the inside lane, and things shake out a little bit different as everybody gets into single file formation down the front straightaway.
Yeah, the outside groove on the 5/8 tends to work a little bit better if you want to. If you are the leader, you definitely tend to want to start on the outside. You got horsepower. You might as well use it. These are very long swooping corners versus what you would see on the 3/8, so you can use your horsepower on this racetrack versus like a track like the Monroe 3/8 or maybe even South Sound Speedway or Wenatchee Valley Super Oval.
So our program today brought to you by Gene Johnson, Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. This segment is brought to you by Angel of the Winds Casino Resort. They have sports betting there at Angel of the Winds. They can pick a winner, prove it at Angel of the Winds Casino Resort, the only home for sports betting north of Seattle, exit 210 off I-5 in Arlington. We were talking about using the car up a little bit early, and I want to bring up something that I hinted on a little bit earlier, as these drivers are running a little bit earlier in the day that I think they may have even anticipated on a hot day with some sunshine going into turn 3 in the back straightaway. Hot racetrack comparatively to what I think you're going to get, especially at the end of the night. That heat in the racetrack's got the potential to grow these tires, and if you grow these tires early in this 100-lap segment, you could be in some trouble.
If you grow them too much, they tend to get a little slimy, and once you start to get, as we got a good battle, looks like for third, the 27 of Raz underneath the 55 of Plybon, as they look like they're going to go not spinning, but almost ran into each other going into turn 3.
And Gomez right there, too.
Gomez is right there with them as they get off the hump of 4, and the 55 of Plybon still hanging on to third.
So you're saying you grow them, they get a little bit slimy, they'll actually physically grow in stature, which will change your stagger as well.
Yes, so once you change your stagger, most of these cars, and it's hard to tell, I haven't ran a super late many, many years, but the super lates versus pro lates, the stagger tends to be a little bit different, as if you're throughout the race, if the stagger tends to closing up and get smaller, the car tends to get tighter. If it opens up, it will get looser.
Okay.
So on this racetrack, most cars tend to get tighter. Mostly in the pro lates. When I was as a super late, it would tend to get looser.
Interesting.
But that was 5-6 years ago. Different tires. The track has aged since then.
And like you were saying, a completely new compound for these drivers to race on. The new spec. You said ST1 was the compound name?
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of drivers learning still on this one. Like you said, some of them have been on it before. They kind of have a notebook of what they're doing, but 200 laps around the 5/8, that's going to be grueling for any race car in any tire compound.
And once these tires grow, and if they do grow too much, these cars, if you're off by a 1/16 of an inch, that could throw your whole day out.
Wow.
So you almost have to be an engineer to work on a super late and or a pro late model with the bump stops, all the different packages.
Well, a lot of these teams have a specific tire guy for that exact reason, right?
Exactly. Tires definitely win races. That I will argue that to the day I die.
Well, they're the only actual portion of the race car that contacts the racetrack, right? So there's something to be said. I work with an extremely good tire guy in Augie Vizzoni, and he constantly preaches that. He's like, listen, here on the pavement, these are the only thing. It's the only thing across the board, no matter what you're running, but it's the only thing that touches the track. Why wouldn't you pay extra attention to them?
Exactly. The shocks, the springs, the bump stops, the whole geometry of the car is just all set up to keep those tires happy.
You look at it, too, it's one thing you don't think about, but you have shocks and you have springs, but the tire itself, depending on how you pressurize the thing, what the sidewall of the individual compound is doing, has its own little extra that it adds in or takes away from your spring rate.
Exactly. The tire itself is a spring.
Yes.
Essentially. And, everything between the stagger and the size of the tire pressure can definitely change the whole outcome of your race. And when we get a good battle like this, you can tend to heat up the tires more than, let's say, the 8 of Derek Thorne.
So let's take a look right now on his I saw coming down the straightaway, the 27 of Raz. That car looked like it had a little wiggle coming off the corner like he was trying to catch up to it. Gomez is rolling in on Cole Raz and looking to drop him a spot coming early. Gomez will run off the inside. That time looks like a better corner for Cole Raz, but Jonathan Gomez is coming and looking good in 5th right now.
Yeah, Gomez just watching and seeing where the 27 of Raz is struggling, and I'm starting to tell, it looks like he's struggling a little bit coming off at turn number 2. A lot of bumps. Me and Derek talked about this the last time we were here with the Pro Lates. This track is 63 years old, very, very old, a lot of bumps, lots of character. So, and every time you race on this track, you kind of find more bumps as this track gets older. So it tends to be, this is definitely a driver's track because you have to race the track, not race the other drivers on it. Well, you do, but it's definitely a racer's track.
So at the same time, while you're trying to navigate the speeds and the toughness that is the 5/8, you still have to deal with some of the best late model drivers in the world here at the Summer Showdown as well. Race the track and race the guy in front of or behind you makes it extra tough.
100%, as we got our battle has definitely dissipated as of right now. The 8 of Derek Thorne on a clean Saturday night drive at this point. He has been, I believe he was our 2022 Snowball Derby winner, so he's definitely known around the country for his pro late model and super late model racing.
He has won the Super Bowl of late models, that is for sure. But you know the one that he hasn't won, right?
This one.
That's right. Derek Thorne has not won here in the super late models yet. Right now, he's got an early, and I stress early, 19 laps into this 200-lap feature race. Now, you mentioned they're getting a break at lap 100. Tires will be swapped over. They get 4 freshies on that point in time. Do they get to make other adjustments to the car at that point in time, or tires only?
I believe you can do tires, fuel, and small adjustments. You can't take a shock off. You can't do anything like that, but you can make tiny adjustments with your shocks. If they see something as big as maybe a shock coming off, then I believe they'll assess it and you'll probably go to the back at that point.
It's part of the reason that adjustable shocks exist, I would think.
Exactly.
Over on the left-hand side, you've got a battle between the 42 of Evan Getz and the 17 of Max Schroeder. That's Okanagan versus Tacoma going on the left-hand side of your screen, and that is a top 10 battle at the moment. Yes, indeed, it's for 7th and 8th position. So that's what you're watching on the left-hand side of your screen, and it looks like you got another driver sticking his nose and getting involved, although I can't pick it out with my terrible eyes at the moment.
That is the one of Casey Klein looking to the inside of, I believe that's the 42 of Evan Getz on the outside. We'll see as they come down the front straightaway. That is actually looking underneath the 17 of Schroeder. But then we got another battle. Looks like this is for second between the 55 of Hayden Plybon and the 65 of Tyler Tanner.
Business picking up here, and you'll remember those two ended up having race cars colliding at the Mark Galloway. We were told that everything has been patched up from there and all is good. You expect those two to race each other clean, and that's exactly what they do in turns 1 and 2. Hayden Plybon ascends to second place. We have got our first break of the 200-lapper coming up. More coming up. It's the Summer Showdown for super late models on the track here on Home Track Heroes. While you guys were gone, while you were at break, top 5 has stayed intact here on Home Track Heroes, here on Seattle 11, as you are watching the Tire Pros Summer Showdown. Our program brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Mechanical. Derek Thorne is in the black with white number 8 car. He has been your leader since the early stages. Hasn't led them all, but he's led a lot of them. Hayden Plybon ascended to second right before the commercial break. Tyler Tanner in third. And back in the field, Jonathan Gomez is trying the outside. Now on Cole Raz, looks like successfully and moving into fourth.
Definitely a great move on the outside by the 22 Gomez. His weekend didn't start off that great. He wrecked in practice on Thursday.
Ugh.
And they scrambled, got some parts from all over the state to get his car finished, and he is definitely doing well sitting in that 4th spot. But the last time I just saw Hayden Plybon go by, he is starting to catch up to our leader. However, there is smoke coming out of that car.
Uh-oh, not a good thing. And smoke, no matter what you're going to see, even if it's not from the engine compartment, even if it is a tire rub, you don't want that. It's 63 laps to the break before those guys are going to have a chance to do anything about it. So next time we get a chance to look at that, we'll give her a shot. You see the green lights blinking on the traffic. Look, 162 to go. You're no longer in the early portion of this race, but you're not exactly smack dab in the middle yet, are you?
No, at this point, you just want to keep getting those laps. If we stay green, you just want to stay on the lead lap. If we start spreading out more, we'll start to get into this more lap traffic that we'll see now. It looks like they're going to put the 52 of Brian Philpott down a lap. So we'll see if there will be any lap traffic that will be in conjunction to our leaders and maybe switch up a couple positions here, but as of right now, they're showing good lap car etiquette, staying out of the way.
And any of these drivers are not happy at this point in time. You know, some of them had come out with the idea, okay, my race car's not that good. I got to survive to 100 and hopefully be on the lead lap. Well, this long green flag run is not going to let that happen. Philpott goes the lap down. 43 of Cody Vanderwall next up on the agenda for Derek Thorne. And for Thorne, everybody he can put a lap down now is one that, no matter how good their race car gets later, is something that he really doesn't have to deal with.
Yeah, that's a perfect scenario for him. And if you're someone like Cody Vanderwall or even Ryan Philpott, you want a caution to come out because we do lucky dogs in this race. And if we keep going green and more people get lapped down, they're out of contention to get their lap back.
Well, we've seen historically, too, on this race, no matter how big the field is, traditionally you only end up with single-digit cars in the lead lap, and that's been as short as 2 or 3, sometimes up to big, 5 or 6. But this is a race that a lot of guys do end up going a lap down, and their opportunity just seems to go away.
Yeah, that's what's very difficult when you don't have a good car, but it looks like we have some problems. Hayden Plybon slowing down, and he is going to pull it in early, and there is something going south on the 55 car of Hayden Plybon.
42 laps into this, and your second place runner, Hayden Plybon, out of contention as he will pull it into the pit area. Expands the advantage between first and second, but slides everybody in the field up a spot. So now Tyler Tanner is in second, and Jonathan Gomez is your final car in the top 3. And Gomez is up there and pushing on Tanner to take that second position away.
We'll watch and see what happens here, how they're going to maneuver through the lap traffic, see if Gomez can use lap traffic as a pick between the 65 of Tanner, as we got a whole bunch more. It looks like we got the 43 of Vanderwall, the 52 of Philpott, and now the 11, and that is J.J. Hamilton, as, ooh, that was pretty close there. If you're Tanner, you know, you're not halfway through here yet, you might just want to let him go by and save what you have for the second half of the show.
Yeah, at this point in time, you're going to be on the lead lap. You should be okay unless something goes drastically wrong. It's not like Thorne is way out of your striking distance at this point, but we'll watch and see. We'll see how he chooses to attack it. Gomez is right there, almost to the rear quarter panel. Doesn't make the move coming out of turn number 2, but Gomez has got some strength here. The 22 car looking good, even with all those begged and borrowed parts.
Yeah, Gomez definitely showing some strength. As you see, Gomez running a little bit of a higher groove, and then he'll tuck it down right to the bottom of the racetrack, and that's when he gets the speed on the 65 of Tanner, as he goes in a little bit lower, lets it drift up, and then goes right back down. That's generally the kind of line you want to run in turns 1 and 2 on this track, because if you stay right to the white line, you're hitting those bumps, and it's just scrubbing speed off your car.
Philpott moves up a groove, listening to the spotters and the NASCAR officials who are telling him, hey, 2 and 3 are coming. Could you please give him a little space? He'll do so. 43 of Vanderwall also gets up racetrack in 1 and 2. Tanner's going to have room to get by him. Gomez going to have plenty as well, and then the battle can resume, although it hasn't really unresumed over the course of this traffic. Gomez has been right there, so if Tanner made a big boo-boo, it would be an easy path by him.
Yeah, Gomez is right there. He will not go away, and will get by the 43 of Vanderwall. No issues at all between the 65 and the 22. As the 65 will let it drift up a little bit more, we'll see if that might be able to create a little bit of a gap between him and the 22 of Gomez. And it actually did. It worked out a little bit better for him that time. He might have found something that maybe the 22 of Gomez doesn't have.
Well, we'll see if Tanner can put that into application, see if he can use it to his advantage. Gomez trying to chase him down right now. Derek Thorne is coming in. Next time by, he will have led at the 25% mark of this race, as Gomez denied coming off turn number 2 that time by Tanner. Let's see if he tries again. Turn 3, a little more space between the two of them. Tanner going to hold second this time by. Let's see what kind of run Gomez has going into turn 1.
Gomez right there once again on the rear bumper cover of Tyler Tanner. He has a way better corner through 1 and 2 than he does through 3 and 4. And that last lap, when you saw him get right to darn near his door, it was just that typical on the 5/8 you can use your horsepower, and it looked like the 65 was just able to outmotor him coming off in turn number 2.
Now Derek Thorne is 25% of the way towards taking 30 grand to the bank. Speaking to the bank, Coastal Community Bank. Community is our middle name. Our bankers take time to understand your business and help move it forward. Coastal Community Bank, an equal housing lender, member FDIC.
As we look back midway through the pack, that is the 00 of Naima Lang, the 17 of Max Schroeder, and the 3 last week's winner, Wyatt Gardner. Look at that, passing those big motor cars right on the outside, as he gets to, looks like he's going to pass the 00 of Naima Lang very, very shortly as well.
Now that is Wyatt's Pro Late model that he has out here running on this track. Problems in the Super Late model necessitated a car change, and as such, back to the pack jack for Wyatt. He has had to really climb through this field.
Yep, so far I believe he has passed, I would guess, about 10 or 11 cars. I believe that's a battle for 9th. Not 100% sure, but he'll go right by. And actually, that was the 22 of Gomez going by the 65 of Tanner. That is in your second place runner-up.
Yep, our Seattle 11 camera crew caught it quickly as Gomez found the opportunity, and that's how fast things happen on the 5/8s. We talked about the legends and how sudden those things happen, but here on the 5/8s, with all the speed that you have, if you've got a little extra, I don't know, mile per hour over the guy in front of you at the speeds that you're going, it definitely happens quickly. You see how fast Gomez got up to and by Tyler Tanner.
Yes, you can definitely make a fast pass on this racetrack. However, I know it kind of sounds like it should be the opposite, but when you're going this fast, and someone spins out or something's happening in front of you, you actually have a little bit more time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's just because there's more room on this track, but personally, I've seen cars spin out in front of me on this track, and I felt like I had more time to move or even maneuver around the car than I would on the 3/8.
Is part of that because, and granted, a lot of the extra space in this track is straightaway. Is that because you're looking even further ahead down the racetrack than maybe you normally are?
I think that might be it. When you're looking down, going off of turn 4, and then you're looking at the other cars going to turn 1, it looks like they're miles ahead of you versus a track on the 3/8.
It must feel like you are in the straightaways forever on the 5/8s, right?
Oh, yes. You know, a lot of these drivers, this is probably the biggest racetrack they'll ever race on in their career. It's one of the biggest racetracks on the West Coast, one of the fastest racetracks on the West Coast. So it's definitely a different animal, and you want to definitely treat this track and the other racers with respect, because this track can definitely get out there and bite you.
As far as short tracks go, it is the super speedway of the West, that is for sure. We don't have anything bigger than a half mile in any of the rest of the state of Washington. So taking a look, Dawson Cox in the 7D, Jen Evans in the 64 in your frame right now, and those two running, I want to say, just a hair inside the top 10 last time I saw the ticker come by. In fact, yep, 7th and 8th with Gardner trying to bring him back in. There is your leader, Derek Thorne, at lap number 142, and Jonathan Gomez sitting in second. Gomez second, Tanner third, Raz just past your screen in fourth, and then trying to get a look back to Getz in the 5th spot as laps continue piling away, and that's exactly what you want if you're Derek Thorne. Just file them away, put them in the book, and keep marching towards lap 100.
Yes, once I'm starting to notice Gomez is starting to catch our leader pretty quickly, though. We'll see what happens.
We'll take a look at that further after this commercial break. Timeout here, back with more of the Tire Pros Summer Showdown here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. We are marching towards the halfway point, the break coming up here in the Tire Pros Summer Showdown. The super late models are on track. It is $30,000 to win, and the guy looking to make the biggest deposit is Derek Thorne. That's the black and white 8 car that you see in picture right now. Thorne, your leader. As we were going to break, Jonathan Gomez looked like he was reeling him in. That gap has gotten significantly bigger over the past few laps, whereas Tyler Tanner sits there.
He is definitely gone, as in the 8 of Derek Thorne, definitely about maybe even half a lap lead. So definitely very comfortable where he is at right now. We're looking at the 42 Evan Getz in 4th, and then looks like we got the 27 of, that would be Cole Raz getting passed for 5th, as that is last week's winner, the 3 of Wyatt Gardner, coming from last to 5th.
Wow, nice run, Wyatt Gardner. You know, we have seen guys come from the back of this field to come up and darn near win the thing. Preston Peltier a few years ago ringing a bell where he, after spinning out the heat race, started dead last in the field, but he was to your lead within like 60 laps. It's not the same kind of march from Wyatt, but nonetheless impressive, and especially in a pro late model against this field.
Yeah, definitely most impressive. He has a little bit of advantage right now. A little bit less motor than the rest of the field, as he will not be burning his tires up compared to someone like the 8 of Derek Thorne or the 27 of Raz. So he has a little bit of advantage compared to everyone else.
So we've got 11 laps until the break. For a guy like Wyatt, without the, quote, big motor, does that put him at a disadvantage with fresh tires?
He will be definitely at a disadvantage at the halfway break. It will not shock me if he loses most of his ground or even all of it.
And then has to come back and hope at the late race that number 1, maybe a little attrition, picks him up a spot or two here or there. And
yes.
Then, hey, listen, over the course of this whole thing, I have 200 laps on my race car. Not as hard with the gigantic motor in it, and maybe he has a little extra something than everybody else does.
Yeah, he's going to have to bank on that, bank on a caution or two to keep everyone bunched back up again. And if he can get both of those things, he might have a shot at winning the 200 lap and $30,000 to win. That'd be $45,000 total in one weekend.
Well, it's the feather in your hat too. I mean, money spends, but glory lasts forever, right?
Yes, it's on. Your name would be on the back of that shirt.
Gotta love it. Name on t-shirt. That is the goal for everybody, as we're down to 8 laps to go for the 8 car before the halfway break. And again, fresh set of tires, 4 tires coming, as Raz in danger here. He's in 6th, and Dawson Cox is getting up to him. Cole Raz, last year's champ, and 27 car might be in hang-on mode here for the break. They're going to need to tinker on this thing.
Yeah, something looks like it could be going south on the 27 car. He's definitely losing a lot of speed. Maybe a tire going down or tire, starting to get wore out. Might have missed setup there, but the 7 of Dawson Cox is in the same, has the same advantage as the 3 car of Wyatt Gardner. He's a little under on horsepower as well. His tires aren't as bad. He's going to continue to move through the field. If it was Dawson Cox and the 3 of Wyatt Gardner, I'd be wishing this race was 125 laps with no break.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you mentioned it. The 5/8 is abrasive, right? So that's going to be harder on guys that are putting more power down to the racetrack. It's going to wear out those tires a lot quicker.
Oh, yes. As it looks like we got another battle. That is for 4th as we got the 3 of Gardner looking to the inside of the 42 Evan Getz. Getz, I believe this is only his 2nd time on this racetrack, so definitely got a lot to learn with this racetrack, and he's doing great running in the top 5.
Oh, what about it? Wyatt Gardner, the Pro Late Model winner for the Summer Showdown, and he goes wheel to wheel with Evan Getz and drives by him with 6 laps to go before the break. So Wyatt Gardner, whatever it is that he has figured out on that 3 car, and especially in this car, the Pro Late Model, it corners, it rotates, it accelerates just where he likes. He has got something in that race car that is just absolutely incredible, and it's showing here because he's up to 4th.
Yeah, very impressive. Coming off in turn 2 that last lap to outrun a big motor, that's very great to have. Especially, like I said, it's very helpful with the tires when your tires aren't as bad as someone like Getz's, and you will definitely have more traction coming off of the corner versus a big motor.
Look how much ground he's gained already on Getz after making that pass. He's opened up 3 car lengths here with 4 to go before the break. As we take a look at Gardner stretching things out, Gene Johnson, Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical bring you this segment and, of course, our entire show here on Home Track Heroes. And I shouldn't say the segment. The segment brought to you by Tire Pros, the official tire dealer of Evergreen Speedway. Tire Pros, your one-stop tire retailer, where honesty is best policy, and they have a hassle-free guarantee. Tire Pros has all the national brands and offers a nationwide warranty on your tires. Go to TirePros.com. Fitting, as we're talking a lot of tire talk, but it is the thing.
Oh yeah, tires on this racetrack will definitely make or break your day. He'll make or break your day in any type of race. It doesn't matter if you're on a track that's 3 years old or 63 years old. The tires will definitely win your races and lose you some races as well.
Here in our 70th anniversary of Evergreen Speedway season. Long time. You're lucky that we've had 70 years because a lot of racetracks don't enjoy that kind of longevity.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of businesses don't even enjoy that longevity.
True story. So Derek Thorne is steamrolling his way to what we anticipate to be a caution flag at the completion of lap number 100, the exact halfway point of this main event. Coming up into some slower traffic. At that slower traffic, going to be thanking their lucky stars because they're going to escape being lapped. Coming up here at the very end, that's going to keep them on the lead lap. So good news for them is there's the yellow at the halfway point of this main event. Thorne leads, Gomez 2nd, Tanner 3rd, and from dead last to 4th, Wyatt Gardner 5th, Evan Getz here at the break.
Yeah, Wyatt Gardner definitely would be getting the Hard Charger Award right now. It's very interesting to see all the drivers getting their new tires put back on, fueling their cars. A lot of these drivers are getting out of their cars, going for a bathroom break, a water break, just stretch their legs. That's a long time in a race car.
Indeed it is. So we're going to jump back right into the action. I'm Caleb Hart. He's Chad Fitzpatrick. And we are ready to go. Thorne on the outside for the restart. Yes. Gomez on the inside.
This is definitely, that was a very good strategic move on the 8 of Derek Thorne. He will have a way better advantage over the 22 of Gomez as they come off at turn number 4. We are going to go green as the 8 of Thorne, a really good start off of turn number 2, or coming into turn number 1 off turn number 2 down the back straightaway, as the 22 of Thorne hanging on the inside.
Something that we don't see a whole heck of a lot of, or we didn't during the course of that, is Gomez was on the inside, sparked it up a little bit. That's what a full tank of fuel will do for you.
Full tank of fuel, low tire pressure, the cars are starting to settle. This will be some of the fastest laps you will see probably all weekend, because these are fresh tires. The race that they started on were on 20-lap-old tires, plus a qualifying session. So they were not the best tires that they would be running on. These are the tires that they're running on now.
Dawson Cox taking full advantage, driving around the outside of Wyatt Gardner for position. So Dawson making big moves. Nice job by the 7D in picking up the spot here At least on the restart, you see him in the Brandy Hood Promotions in-car camera on the right-hand side of your screen. On the left, Thorne trying to get away and run from Gomez. If he thinks he's got the best car, establish that lead now and never let him cut into it.
As of right now, whatever you got, don't hold back. You are not guaranteed of another caution now. So
Yep.
you got to, whatever you have, you just run it, and hopefully it works out for you, because the 22 Gomez, as of right now, with only 1 car length separating them both, he's keeping them at arm's length.
So let's watch the battle up front on the left-hand side of your screen. Thorne and Gomez, and boy, Gomez getting awfully racy back there. Looking for opportunity. He is right on the back of Thorne. Going into turn number 1, I would not be surprised to see Gomez take a shot at making the pass on Thorne here and jumping up into the lead.
Yeah, there's something definitely going on with the 8 car. Maybe the tires just haven't warmed up yet. The stagger hasn't come into what they were hoping for, or maybe those are just flat out not good tires. But the 8 car, Derek Thorne, looks to be in trouble here, as the 22 Gomez will not go away. He is right there on the 8 of Thorne.
We had talked about having your tire guy earlier, and that's one of the things he's looking for, is he's trying to pick what the best tires are. They all think that there's a magic and a solution to it, and some of them might know something, some of them might not. Whatever tires the 22 has on are good enough to give him a shot to run around the outside of Thorne here, as he looped it wide coming off of 4, and now is looking half a groove up through 1 and 2.
Yeah, Gomez looking to the outside groove. We'll watch and see if maybe he can make it work as they go into turn 3. But as we watch the 64, Jan Evans, and the 42 of Evan Getz battling for that 4th position. But look at that, back up front, side-by-side battle for the lead.
For the top spot down the front straightaway. Last time by the line, Gomez had it, and there is a little bit of a bump coming through the turn. But Gomez has the lead 107 laps into it for the first time. So Jonathan Gomez, welcome to leading the Summer Showdown, man, as he gets around Thorne and starts opening it up.
Yeah, just to lead a lap on the 5/8 is a huge accomplishment. And once you lead a lap on the Showdown, that's even bigger. He just has 92 more laps to go for the 22 of Gomez. And as for the 8 car of Thorne, it'll be interesting to see if that contact might have knocked the toe out for Thorne, so might have messed up a little bit of his setup that he had going there. We'll watch and see as the race goes on if that will be any hindrance to him.
So you had mentioned, even a 16th of an inch on some of this stuff, like tire-wise, can make a big difference. Well, you're dealing with 16ths and 8ths of an inch when you're into the toe on these cars, so just a little bit of contact can make a big effect if it had knocked that toe one way or the other.
That can make or break your race as well. You got to be really, really careful with these cars. So much can go wrong with the setup in these cars, and once you get it right, a lot of times it doesn't work from week to week, so you have to constantly try to make it work from track to track as well.
So you're watching what is showing currently as 5th place Jan Evans, the 64. Got a lot of viewpoints of him. Good job by Jan, the son of Northwest legend Garrett Evans, who knows a lot about having the race car in the right place at the right time. That's a guy who always knows exactly how hard he can push his car at any point in time, and Jan's having some success in a big 200 lapper on the 5/8. This will be a learning experience for him as to how hard he can push that race car at any given point in time.
Yeah, and he definitely has a very good mentor in his corner as well. His dad, Garrett Evans, a many-time NASCAR Northwest Tour champion out here. Won many times in the super stock and super late model main events out here. Fall Classic wins to his name. I mean, he's won every single thing out here.
That crew is also full of the Knutson brothers, of which all of them racers themselves in a lot of ways. Michael Knutson has been a super late model, pro late model racer. Brother Chris was a street stock guy back at Alfredo when I first met him. Glenn Knutson has been in just about everything that I can think of, including B-Modifieds most recently. So all the guys on that crew have experience in the driver's seat as well. So between them and Garrett, just so many years of experience that they could get in the ear for Jan and help him through.
Yeah, he has literally over hundreds of years of experience on this crew. So that definitely helps out, and it's definitely great to have support like that. As Gomez running a very clean line through 3 and 4, you notice he got picked up a little bit of spark going through 3 and 4. You want to be a little careful doing that.
You would think by the way that car is looking right now that it's Gomez with the hundreds of years of experience, not just in the pit area but on track as well. As boy, that car looks solid. He gets into the corner, Everything rotates about when he's wanting it to. He's just a half a groove up off of the white stripe, and he continues to expand this lead over Derek Thorne.
He's making it look easy. He's just out for a Saturday night stroll at this point. 85 laps to go. He's just counting down the laps. This is one of the racetracks that you do not get to see the scoreboard, so he probably has no idea how many laps are left.
At the same time, at any point in time, all these drivers have full in-cockpit communication with their spotter, and usually with other portions of their team as well. The spotter might be the only guy who talks to them. That's how some of them like to have it, but at any point in time, he can go, how many laps left, and they'll be happy to radio that down to him really quick.
Yeah, that's generally what happens. Is we got issues in turn number 3, the 69 of Xandar Peters stopping. We'll watch and see what caused that, but yeah, something going south on him.
So we did get the replay here, and it's going to come from the in-car on Dawson Cox. Let's take a look and see. Oh, yeah, something lit up in the rear end of that race car, and Peters got her down and off racetrack as quickly as he could. So
that looked to be possibly a motor, and if that was a motor, he's very lucky that it didn't oil down the whole racetrack and he didn't go spinning into the wall.
This race is hard on equipment. At 200 laps around the 5/8, even with the brake, lots can happen, and sometimes random mechanical failure will go down.
Yeah. Like I said, this is one of the biggest tracks that you'll ever run, so this is one of the hardest times you'll ever run your motor.
So rolling through 3 and 4, Gomez leads. Thorne gets the opportunity to start to the inside of him. See how hard Derek can push. He can force Peters in and behind him once again. Or sorry, not Peters, but Gomez in and behind him once again. That's for third. Behind them, Getz versus Tanner, and Getz with the nose on Tanner, looking for third place coming into the corner.
Oh, contact.
It gets physical. Nice save, Tyler Tanner. That could have been way worse.
That was a great save by the 65 of Tanner. That could have been catastrophic for him and other racers. But look at the 7 car Dawson Cox looking into the top 5. Great job by him. Last couple weeks ago, he won the Figure 8 Nationals, and now he's running top 5 in the Summer Showdown.
Well done, Dawson. We know he was a talented and versatile racer, but this is definitely showing out against the best field you're going to see all year. So, well done, Dawson, sitting 5th. And again, not the same power everybody else has, so you would assume that as other cars fade, his car's going to fade less. It's going to give him a shot.
Yeah, he definitely has a shot at this. He's probably going to be banking for a caution, I would say, probably with about 25 laps to go.
Okay.
Punch everyone up again. And by then, he's hoping that whoever is in front of him, they have worn out their tires, and he'll have a little bit more for them and go out and see what he's got.
So this is for third, as Tanner is now back up to the back of Getz. Was taking his opportunity there as we're going to flash back. That is Cox, Max Schroeder, who we haven't talked about a whole heck of a lot, and Wyatt Gardner, who we talked about a lot, coming in and through. That's for 5th.
Wyatt Gardner slowly starting to make up all the spots that he'd lost once they all bolted 4 brand new tires on. So it looks like he's starting to gain a little bit more speed. So we'll see what happens throughout the course of this race, is if he will get more of that same long run speed like he had in the first 100 laps.
And this is an interesting portion of the race as well. As you can see, sun going down, lights coming on, so you're in this weird twilight hour of racing where the track is cooling off and changing, and that'll also change how your race car feels at times.
When the track tends to get cooler, the car tends to get tighter for the most part. It could go the opposite way too. But however, it's more going to lean towards this track will tend to get tighter, and when I mean tighter is the front of the car wants to go straight versus the rear doesn't want to do anything.
You end up with understeer as opposed to oversteer at that point in time. You got to work harder to keep the thing out of the wall.
Yes, and on this track, once you're driving a tight car, it's very, very difficult to maneuver around since you're turning a lot on this racetrack. It looked like the 3 of Wyatt Gardner was momentarily going to look to the outside.
Well, we'll sort it all out. We have got more laps to go. 78 of them left as we go to a break. We're coming back with more Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11. We are into the home stretch of the Summer Showdown, the Tire Pro Summer Showdown here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. He's Chad Fitzpatrick. I am Caleb Hart. We are looking back. This battle is for third. Evan Getz trying to hold off Tyler Tanner. Tyler Tanner's starting to make his move, and Tanner's got to run to the inside of Getz here.
Tanner looking to the inside as they go into turn number 1. As it looks like the 42 Getz goes way out high, almost get into the wall, and he keeps it off the wall, and we stay green.
It's at this point in time during the race that no matter what the move you make is, if you have to rough up the guy in front of you a little bit to get that spot, and heck, if that's what ended up with gets up by the outside wall, I don't think Tanner's going to shed a tear at that point in time. Both cars are still rolling.
Yeah, that could have been very catastrophic for the 42 of Getz. So we stay green, like I said, and the 40 or the 65 of Tanner will regain a podium spot.
So Tanner is going to have to march at this point in time as we are closing in on 25% of the race left to go. Everybody's going to be on the hammer from here forward. Our program brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Huge thanks to them. They have brought you Home Track Heroes all year long. As you see Gomez lapping another car. Gene Johnson, Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. The name you can trust since 1976 for quality service and peace of mind. Visit them today at GeneJohnsonServices.com. As they say, we're on it.
And the person definitely on it is the 22G of Gomez, as he will get by the 52 of Philpott. That is the 8 of Derek Thorne. Derek Thorne might be slowly catching the 22 of Gomez, but it might be a little cat and mouse game too. Gomez might be trying to save whatever he has left.
It's an interesting scenario. So you're Jonathan Gomez right now, 55 to go, and granted we can't know what's happening in the cockpit for Jonathan right now, but are you saving or are you rabbiting?
I think at this point I would be asking one of my crew members to go onto the app, the MyLaps app, and see if you're running a little bit faster or what kind of lap times you're running, and then reflecting on yourself going, okay, how hard am I actually driving this car? If he's slowly starting to catch you, then give the car all you got. If he's just maintaining what you have, just keep maintaining your car too.
Yeah, he's in no imminent danger right now with, half a straightaway between him and Thorne, so knowledge of the situation. Okay, I'm running at 75% and Derek's not catching me. Cool. I can stay at 75%. When he starts catching me, I'm up to 80. He's still catching me. I'm up to 85. Now he's within 6 car lengths, and you know you got to go.
Yep, exactly. And it's all situational. You want to be saving whatever you have. This race could take a turn, and we could be going caution after caution after caution. Or we might be able to go green all the way. You just never know. So we'll watch and see if maybe we do get a caution or not. It's not guaranteed. We don't have any more scheduled cautions at this point.
Right, and we've seen this race go both ways in the history of it. We've seen this become an absolute yellow fest, and then we have seen it go long stretch of green all the way to the finish. It's all going to depend. We'll see what these drivers are feeling like here in this one. As you see Thorne hauling the mail into turn number 3 and off of 4, coming into 50 to go. Due to time constraints, we're going to jump forward a few laps. Can promise you nothing happened. As we're coming back in, and with this green flag run, we're at 26 to go. Gomez still leads Thorne. Tanner is third and trying to close the distance. As you can see, traffic a little bit heavier than when we left it.
Yeah, we're running into a little bit of lap traffic. They have lapped the 11 of J.J. Hamilton. I want to say this might be his 4th or 5th time. They're actually lapping up to about 4th and 5th at this point. Those leaders are gone.
Yeah, your top 3 are your top 3. There's definitely a cutoff point here that we saw where those 3, and Gomez, Thorne, and Tanner, have such an advantage over the rest of the field. There's your 4th place car who just crossed and is about to fall a little bit further down. If you're watching Wyatt Gardner sitting 5th, 6th at the moment.
Yeah, and making a little bit more time from when he put those new tires on and lost some positions. So we'll watch and see the 22 Gomez all by himself, able to stretch out that lead to about, I would say, about 20 car lengths.
23 to go here in this one for Gomez, and which would be the biggest win of his career, the biggest trophy on the mantle, the biggest cardboard check in the office, and again, name on the t-shirt coming up here. It's just a short ways away from Gomez right now. Thorne, again, this is the one that he has never gotten, and he has been the bridesmaid.
He's been very close. He's been very close with the Pro Late Model race. He has almost won it coming to the checkered, and
not so much.
Some bad things happened.
Yes, they did.
and as of right now,
in one of the most controversial finishes in Showdown history. We talked about that one forever.
Yes, and unfortunately, he was on the bad end of that one. Right now, it is still Jonathan Gomez, the 8 of Derek Thorne, and the 65 of Tyler Tanner, the only 3 cars on the lead lap.
And, flashing back to that was 4 years ago, 3 years ago?
I want to say it was 2021.
Yeah. These drivers, as much as we make them out to be superheroes, they're not infallible. They will make a mistake in judgment. They'll make a mistake in just the mechanics of sometimes how they get off a corner. And at the end of a 200-lap race, that's going to happen.
Oh, it
right?
most definitely can happen. The tires are wore out. The drivers are certainly wore out.
Yeah.
They're mentally exhausted. They're physically exhausted. They want this race to be over. And then there's $30,000 up for grabs as well.
Talk about the stressors in that situation again, and you hit it, right? They've been in the cockpit of a race car forever at this point in time in what is an aerobic activity. It's a physical stressor and the mental stress. You're a late model race winner at this point in time. The stress of winning the race and leading the race is almost worse than trying to chase them down.
It most definitely is. I hate leading races.
You love it when it's done, but...
Exactly. I just want to lead the last 2 laps, and that's it. That's all I want. Other than that, once that gets mentally into your head, when you're leading or even chasing down, when you get mentally stressed, it physically wears you out too.
Right.
And it's a bad combination.
One of those situations where you'd rather just be able to shut your brain off and go on autopilot for a while, right?
Yeah.
Which I feel like here at the Showdown, some of these drivers, probably the best of the drivers, have to have that portion of time in which they do that. They've got, it's a 200 lapper. It's focusing that hard on a 5/8 for that many laps. There's got to be a couple of laps where they just kind of, check out and think about what song they want playing in victory lane.
Yeah,
right?
you just kind of start logging some laps. Maybe a person like Dawson Cox, he's been kind of by himself for the last 50 laps. He's probably just logging laps at this point. He knows what positions he's in. He knows that he is still getting chased down for a position on the lap that he is on. However, he's not chasing anybody down.
Sure. His crew's also telling him, hey, 5th place is 17 cars back at this point in time, and you can autopilot for a lap or 2 at that point.
Yeah.
Not to the point where you can unfocus and not take the corner, right? Because, again, the physical aspect of making that corner, you still got to get your hands turned at the right time. You still got to be picking up the throttle at the right time, because you do anything wrong, more than, I'm going to say, 10% wrong, and the car's going around or in the wall.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that on this track. There's not a lot of room for error. There's a lot of concrete. We touched on this last week. This is obviously the fastest racetrack you'll probably ever run in your racing career, and you are surrounded by concrete. Most of these racetracks, the quarter miles, half miles, you're surrounded by concrete. We're very lucky on the Evergreen 3/8. You got a lot of room to maneuver. Tracks like Hermiston, you got some room. Tri-Cities, you have some room. But places like Wenatchee, you're covered in concrete. Same thing with State Line, South Sound.
Wenatchee, you can spin to the infield and not end up tearing anything up. But boy, that outside wall is unforgiving, and it comes up
quick.
Really quick. You and I have both been into that wall before. It hurts.
It most definitely does.
Down the run we go as you get a look. There is Tyler Tanner in 3rd, and he is hoping to see the black with white number 8 of Derek Thorne any second now as we're into 13 laps to go. Tanner, we're being told, is the fastest car between him and Thorne. He is running him down, and it seems like making some progress on Gomez as well.
Making a lot of progress. He is, in fact, just looking at it now, about 2 to 3 tenths faster. We almost had some issues with our lap cars right in front of our leader. The 52, something going on with Philpott. He was turning back and forth. Might have been running out of fuel.
Weird. Well, if you didn't top her off, right, and play the field game, lighten her up a little bit, and see if you can conserve just enough to get to the end. It seems weird to run a fuel race at 200 laps, but...
And then the other thing is he might have had a smaller fuel cell. Most of these cars have 22-gallon fuel cells. Some of them might have the 18-gallon.
4 gallons will make a big difference.
It definitely would, and especially now. No cautions, you're running that motor really hard. So you're going to burn through way more fuel.
We did have, a total of 2 yellow flags over the course of this race here so far. We had the one early in the first segment, the one early here in segment 2, but by and large, that's a lot of on the hammer time.
Yeah, so you will be definitely going through a lot of fuel. You don't have time, as we got the 65 of Tanner right on the rear bumper of the 8 of Derek Thorne.
Here is the move for second with 10 to go. Tanner to the inside, looking to shuffle Thorne back a position, and he is going to do it into turn number 3. More heartbreak for Thorne is now if something happens to your leader, he's still a bridesmaid. As they come down the front straightaway, Tyler Tanner has passed Derek Thorne. And now the question with 9 to go, is there time and is there enough race car to catch Jonathan Gomez, your leader?
Tyler Tanner, by far the fastest race car on this racetrack. He is about 0.3 faster than our leader, Jonathan Gomez, as we got some lap traffic that will possibly be a contender. But it was very apparent the 8-car Derek Thorne has used up everything he has, because when the 65 of Tanner got by him, he couldn't even have a chance to try to pass him back.
And didn't really try. Like, it was, okay, you got me. Have fun, go race for the lead, right?
Yep, exactly.
Which is a thing that Derek Thorne, of the sportsman-like things that he will do, when he's beat. So.
And he's going to definitely let them, if the 65 of Tanner gets up to him, he's definitely going to let him hash it out. But the 22 and the 65 are definitely, the 65, I should say, is definitely closing in on the 22.
Well, it's going to be Gomez who's going to have to get around Max Schroeder here in a hurry. Hopefully he can get Schroeder to pull down into the line and not stay up high, because he wants to get a lap car in between him. The distance is shrinking lap by lap, 6 to go. Anything can happen here at Evergreen Speedway, and weird things happen at the Showdown. Let's see if Tanner has got enough left in the tank to get to Gomez. Getting to him is one thing, getting by him is going to be a whole other story, as we're coming into just 5 more circuits, a little longer than 2.5 miles.
The longest 5 laps, I would say, for Jonathan Gomez's career, as the 65 of Tanner right there within a car length now. He has gained almost, I would say, 25 car lengths on him in 10 laps.
It's amazing. That car has both. It's a combination of two. That car has come alive. Gomez is hanging on for dear life at this point in time, and Tanner is right there up on the rear bumper cover now with 4 left. Now, what's the move and how does he time it?
Gomez is going to have to get extremely wide. He has more lap cars that he's going to have to contend with here. Hamilton will be no issue there. At this point, you might have to look high. At that point, maybe look high and then go low. Going to have to maybe fake him a little bit. Going to have to get in his head, and definitely he is already in his head right now when he knows he is right there. He caught up to him so fast.
Let's see how Tanner sets him up. And again, you want to get him thinking I'm going one way and then zig the other. If Tanner has enough race car to drive around the outside of him, and he very well might at this point in time, you wonder how long he's going to take to go for it. As coming in, it'll be 2 to go. 2 to go for Gomez. There's Tanner, and there's the love tap. You think, okay, I'm here. Something's coming.
Yep, you definitely want to show him that you're here, as it looks like just right there, gets right up along to the 22 of Gomez. But Gomez had a really good run off of 2 that time compared to Tanner. A little bit of bobble out of the 65.
See how much air they're pushing as you watch the banners fly on the back straightaway. 1 to go, Chad. 5/8 of a mile left to decide this. $30,000 on the line, and glory forever for these 2 drivers as they get into 1.
Tanner right there once again with the 22 of Gomez. We'll see if he can get a really good run. He does off of turn number 2. We'll see if he can get right alongside the 22 of Gomez.
The deciding corners are coming up. Gomez, Tanner into the bottom of 3. Little push up. There's contact. There's lots of contact. Gomez is going around to the checkered flag, and Tanner is going to get there first. Gomez around in the bottom of turn number 4. Thorne is going to get around him. Oh boy, a showdown.
Wow.
With that. So Tyler Tanner crosses the finish line first to the checkered flag. Derek Thorne second, and we understand a protest has been filed on the finish. The NASCAR officials and ourselves are going to take a look at the video. Let's go back and get another couple angles here as to see what's going to happen, and then we'll learn what the call is. So, protest has officially been filed, and let's take a peek. The contact's undeniable. You're coming around the corner. Let's back it up. So,
just a little contact right there.
There's the tap. Now you're in, and now you're into the corner, and it's almost, there's the nose of Tanner, and there's Gomez going around.
And at the same time, when he got in the 22, his car got loose too.
It did.
So he had a little bit of a body slide that he had to contend with. And then right there, when he got, when you hit tire to tire, it tends to jerk the car around too.
Does it look like Tanner gets out of the gas?
It looked like he was letting him at least trying to save it.
Okay. So he's into the corner, and here's the slow down look at it. Tap. There's the right front right into the number.
And
it's undeniable that Gomez goes around as a result of the contact. He was straight going into the turn. So we understand the decision that's been levied by the officials. Derek Thorne is your winner. Gomez is given second. Tanner is penalized to third for the rough driving, and that's how the showdown ends.
Yes.
It's controversial. It's going to get talked about forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard thing for me to judge because I've never been in that seat, but wow.
Most definitely. What a interesting way to end the showdown.
Not the way I think Derek Thorne would have thought he was going to win it, but he gets it. Kudos to Derek and Griff for cutting a great show. He's Chad Fitzpatrick. I'm Caleb Hart. Sprint Cars coming up next week here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Take care, everybody. We'll see you again.
Thanks for watching Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Join us next week for more great racing from Evergreen Speedway.